What's up, mortals? It's Dante from the Anime Underworld, and today I want to review what I think about Season 2 of Hazbin Hotel. Now that it's finally over, I mean, when you release 2 episodes a week, it's going to be a short run. I know many of you have probably seen numerous other videos giving their reviews about each episode during the week of release, but I've been busy. I wanted to try, but life was like, no, don't. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain what I think worked and didn't work about this new season. And what better way than to talk about the first 2 episodes that were released on week 1. Now, in my opinion, I think episode 2 should have been episode 1. Episode 1 was a good but not really strong start. It starts off a month, not a few days, not even a week, but a month after the end of season 1. Adam is dead, and the hotel is flooded with new patrons who aren't there for redemption. No, that's not why they're at the Hazbin Hotel. They're there because they want to kill angels. After all, Charlie inspired them, not to redeem themselves, but to fight back against the tyranny of heaven and their constant exterminations. But one resident is there to prove scientifically that redemption is not possible. He says while talking to the daughter of Lucifer in hell. I hate to tell you this, buddy, but science can go fuck itself. After telling the residents who weren't there for redemption and all the news reporters with their stupid questions to go piss off if they're not there to take redemption seriously, the Vees take advantage of the uproar that Charlie has caused, seeing the opportunity to become more than just overlords, but rather see themselves as gods, with their plan not to take over just hell, but also heaven, now that they know that their enemy can be harmed, and no longer have to fear a one-sided genocide. However, before the episode can end, Emily appears literally at the last minute out of nowhere to tell Charlie that her hotel actually works, and this was Charlie's response. We move out of hell and into heaven, where Sir Pinchas, again, this should have been a few days after the end of season 1, not a month, is facing trial. Heaven is shocked that a sinner got redeemed, meaning that all the executions, that they do not settle well with Sarah and her consciousness, trying to find a way to say that it was all worth it, that the exterminations were needed. However, we are introduced to 2 new characters. One is this being called the Speaker of God, an aspect of the big G-Man himself, who is comforting, wise, and pretty much what we think of God. After calming everyone down, we found out why Sir Pinchas was able to go into heaven. It wasn't because of Charlie and her methods, nor was it Adam and his explanation on how to get into heaven, but rather it was because Sir Pinchas made up for the sin that damned him. He made up for it in hell and got redeemed. That is how redemption works. But Lute is not having this. She wants to do everything she can to avenge Adam. She is so driven that she starts seeing an hallucination of him wherever she goes. That's honestly pretty sad, but at least you get a pretty kick-ass song.
Storms coming, I can see the clouds. No running's gonna save you now.
While Lute is losing her mind, Sarah is feeling the guilt and worry about being a leader. She wants to protect heaven, but knows that she did wrong with all of the exterminations she's done in the past, believing that it was all for a greater good. With no other option, she closes off heaven. And we end episode 2 with Emily going down to hell to tell Charlie. Like I said prior, these 2 episodes should have been switched. Trust me, the narrative would have flown much better. As for episode 3, this was the worst episode out of the season, if not the entire show. Charlie is very annoying. She's trying to do everything she can to prove that she was right, because after years and years of being laughed at and mocked, I would want to tell all the haters, hey, I was right, suck it, but she has no proof. Rather than what we got with episode 3, my rewrite idea is this. Charlie goes off excited, telling everyone what happened with Emily, that Sir Pinchas was alive. Baxter, the guy who's there to research redemption, decides to do some experiments with Charlie on angeldust to see if it's possible. Charlie knows the results are possible, but she doesn't know the factors. That's just very bad science. And rather than the Vees being at the hotel, we could get scenes of them trying to plan on how they're going to take over Hell and Heaven. And rather than Vox and Velvet being at the hotel, they could be discussing their plan for taking over Hell and then Heaven. Taking over Hell is going to be the easy part. The hard part is going to be facing against the forces of Heaven, and they try everything they can to discredit the princess to make everyone join them. Ending episode 3 with some phony footage of Charlie being an absolute dictator, abusing her guests, which would lead us into episode 4. Not much to say about this episode. I love Nifty. Charlie having to deal with Brandon Rogers, 𝐃𝐨𝐽, it's not really the good highlight for me. The real highlight was with Alastor. After telling Lucifer and the rest of the gang, fuck this, I quit, he goes to Rosie, who is, get this, shocker, spoiler alert, his master. Yes, the cannibal overlord secretly has Alastor on a leash, and when he was alive made a deal with her to become the most powerful sinner in all of hell to continue his fun. But only if he did something for her. This honestly has a couple of big questions, like how could Rosie do this? What does she want from him? Why did she send him to the hotel? Just so many dang questions. But Alastor can't get out of his contract just yet, so instead he devises a cunning plan. After an epic fight, and Nifty again proving why she's the best part of this episode.
Hey, bad boy.
You again?
Alastor surrenders himself in exchange for the Vees no longer harming Charlie and the residents of the hotel, making us wonder what Alastor has up his sleeve. If you felt that the season was going a little bit slow, don't worry. Episodes 5 and 6 really pick up the pace. With Alastor as his prisoner, Vox and the Vees begin to hold a rally in order to gain the rest of Hell to join their side, gaining the attention of the overlords and the other denizens of Hell. While Charlie is trying to get Heaven's attention because they're the only ones who can prove that redemption is possible, Vaggie decides to take the initiative and go straight to the freaking king of Hell. You know, the guy who could smite them.
I cannot smite him. No, it's kind of part of the whole hell thing.
Wait, you can't smite them? Okay, this was actually a pretty big reveal and explains so much, I'll be honest. The fact that Lucifer is punished by Heaven to not be able to harm the humans that he wanted to help is a pretty cruel punishment. The guy has all this power, he could smite them, but he can't. This revelation shows why he's more close to the Hellborn, why he wanted to protect the imps, the hellhounds, the 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿, and the 7 deadly sins from the exterminations, and why he just didn't care about the humans, and why the humans liked Lilith more than Lucifer. It's a small detail, but it adds a lot. Wanting to defend his daughter and her honor, Lucifer storms in like the freaking god of hell that he is, in order to intimidate Vox. But the TV man, he's not having this. He's calm. He just witnessed the king of hell using light and fire magic, and yet he barely budged an inch and steals the show after Lucifer's song. Sorry, Duck King, you tried, but it didn't work. While that was going on, Charlie actually did get the attention of Emily and the other higher-ups of Heaven, who bring gift baskets. Oh my god, no, Emily, no. And the rest of Hell agrees, who are not taking this whole, yeah, you slaughtered a lot of our brethren a couple of years ago, not very lightly. But it was this rally, seeing all of Hell unite against Heaven, that reminds Sarah why she agreed to the exterminations in the first place. As much as she didn't like the fact that there were souls in Heaven worthy of redemption, Vox and those who revel in evil and sin are why she even agreed to the exterminations to begin with. Again, showing that this isn't really a black and white issue. This was a genuine fear of Heaven. The problem is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They created this monster, and now they have to find a way to take it down. Leaving episode 5 with relationships in ruins, and a war with Heaven getting close on the horizon. Episode 6 is the calm before the storm. Relationships start to develop, for better or for worse.
Anyone else got shit to say? I'm from fucking Florida. Ow!
Nice shot, Val.
While the Vees are slowly tearing each other apart, relationships are progressing. You know the ones, Charlie and Vaggie, they might have had their fights, but they eventually talked out their feelings, had a cute little song, and made up. But blah blah blah, that's not what many people focus on when they watch this episode. For the most part, what they focus on are two things. The revelation that Angeldust was actually a spy for the Vees. A very obvious choice when you consider that our favorite spider demon was actually employed by one of the Vees. I thought Baxter was going to be the spy since he also works for Fox and of course he was the new guy, so who else? But no, it turns out it was Angeldust who was informing Fox on everything at the hotel, using his hypnosis to control Angel like a puppet through his phone, which is very genius yet terrifying. And why Vox was not budging an inch when Lucifer showed up, else I think he would have shit his pants. And those look like very expensive pants. But Fox has plans, not just for Angeldust, but also for the king of hell, Lucifer, saying that he is the power source to their ultimate weapon against heaven. Last two episodes are where things get exciting. Even though I did lose all respect for Lucifer because he was so much of a dumbass because he fell for such an obvious trap. Even villains from Scooby-Doo don't fall into traps that easily, man. On the one hand, the Vees know just how powerful Lucifer is, even if he can't harm sinners. Why? Because he's the power source to power up a gigantic cannon that almost tore heaven apart with one blast. Yes, he is that powerful. So if anything, sinners, you are all so dang lucky that he cannot smite you. Thanks to Angeldust under Vox's mind control acting as a mouthpiece. Poor choice words. And the demonstration of the cannon, all of hell is starting to rally under Vox more and more. Leaving the residents of the hotel ready for doom and gloom. That is until Emily came in to inform Charlie of what's been going on in heaven. After the attack from heaven, Sarah and the rest of the angelic forces wondered what to do. Stand by and surrender to Vox, or prepare for another war and slaughtering of demons. Thankfully, with the help of Serpentius, Sarah decides to have all forces on standby and see if there's a chance for peace, even if the chance is incredibly slim. That is until they figure out the plan on how to stop the Vees, and that is by ding ding ding, showing Serpentius. It took him this long, but I know the reason why.
Because proper communication would get in the way of the story I'm trying to tell. Right, okay.
But by the end of the episode, they hatch a plan on how to stop the Vees and prevent another war between heaven and hell. The final episode is over 35 minutes long, which is good. If you're going to do a season finale, make it the longest episode of the season. You could do so much more, and boy oh boy was there a lot more this episode. I highly recommend that you watch the season finale on your own time because there's a lot of good. This is the best episode of the season, if not the entire series. It's a spy mission and rescue operation, the fights are awesome, and there are a lot of good moments that fans can look forward to in Season 3, especially one with Angeldust that really surprised me. But if you're wondering if there's going to be a Season 3, this is how Season 2 ends.
Mom?
And that was Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Now, how do I feel about the season overall? Well, I can't say it's not entertaining. Episode 3 is the weakest point, with Charlie being very annoying. The pacing is still a little off compared to Season 1. They could have ironed out the plots just a little bit more. Some characters should have gotten more of a spotlight and development, as seen from the trailer. Lute, Abel, and Baxter were sadly mishandled. Maybe we'll get more of them in Season 3. I forgot that Baxter was at the hotel to, prove that redemption is not possible, but barely showed up to show his findings, or even help Charlie, or develop any sort of relationship with the hotel residents. The Though I will admit him and Nifty are actually pretty cute, like when he fixed her bugs or when she defended him in the final episode. But that's a big flaw. He only got to show his stuff in the finale. Here's hoping Lute gets some development in Season 3, because what did happen to that hallucination of Adam? He only got one episode, so is she going to be the villain in the next season now that the Vees are defeated? There's clearly tension between her and Abel as we saw throughout this season. Who knows, maybe there's going to be some sort of big fallout between the two. I mean, when you have Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boys, how can you not have more Abel? Despite the negatives, there are positives. Season 2's storyline is more story-driven than it is episodic, where in Season 1 they just wanted to introduce a fun series and show what exactly this version of the afterlife of hell is, and now in Season 2 it's more episodic, clearly having an end goal in mind. The songs are still great with their own unique style, awesome vocalists, and let's face it, 95% of this audience is only here for the music. They don't care about the story. I'll even give them points for showing the human designs of certain characters. 𝐼𝐶, Alastor, Vox. We got to see what these characters were like in life and what damned them to hell, showing that there are souls in hell worthy of redemption and those that deserve eternal damnation. And of course, you can't be in hell without villains. Unlike in Season 1, the villains were handled a bit better. They're fun, they're chaotic, they remind me a lot of the old classic Disney villains if they were an R-rated movie, rather than a kid-friendly PG movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, okay.
This only makes me wonder who is going to take their place now. Which character in hell will become the true final boss? I'd give this season 8 out of 10. It has its problems, but it also has its good moments. Nothing in this world is perfect, but there's a chance in the future for redemption. This has been Dante from the Anime Underworld. If you like this video, hype it up, give it a like. We'll be out with other helluvaverse material in the near future. Stay tuned for shorts, other videos to come, but check out the channel for videos that you might be interested in. Let me know how they are in the comments, and I'll see you mortals later.